All season's over, right? Wrong. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Everybody in, everybody out, everybody back in again on a Sunday night in July with BlackRock at the beach. What could be more like crypto than that? Nothing. Nothing. Because they're going to ramp the market, possibly because the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve is coming. We'll go over those tweets. No joke. They need every distraction from this law enforcement issue. Crypto and the next couple bills, along with the Sovereign Wealth Fund, are next. Now, even if that's not true, what about lowering the value of the dollar by mooning altcoins? What about the fact that stocks are a bigger bubble now than they were in 2000, based on a metric for Warren Buffett? So, what do you want to buy? Stocks? We'll tell you which altcoins we're looking at. And Patreon, both the premium and the VIP, both the platinum and VIP, just got 5 new altcoins that Americans can trade quickly to get on this move if they need to. We are going to explain to you a little theory, right? Like, for example, Galaxy Digital is bragging that they were able to sell, I don't know, $1 billion worth of Bitcoin for a Satoshi level whale. We sold all this Bitcoin. Okay, who'd you sell it to? Michael Saylor, BlackRock, or maybe Galaxy Digital took it all down. But look how much Bitcoin we can sell. Okay, who's the buyer? Who's the buyer? Well, you know, the answer to that could be BlackRock, because they're hoovering it all up like there's no tomorrow. Everybody's waiting for the breakout. I want to wait for confirmation. This thing traded terrible last week. Orange Man's going to be making quite the sum of money on European tariffs. Where's that money going? Michael Saylor, meanwhile, just continues to issue what I would simply call fancy legacy securities, to the point where he's created a Bitcoin yield curve, meaning these securities, they pay interest. So instead of having bonds create a yield curve, like in the bond market, for example, that's where your 30-year mortgage rate and your car loan rates come from. He did it with these preferred stocks, which are like stocks and bonds. What do you know? Bitcoin has an interest rate. I just made it a real form of money. Not like, you know, a lump of gold or a lump of computer code. Welcome to money. Stablecoins, they're everywhere, obviously. And Elizabeth Warren just came out and said, Americans will pay the price for the stablecoin revolution or the Stablecoin Act. Okay, so that's perfect, because obviously whatever Elizabeth Warren wants to do, you just simply do the opposite. 1. 2, stablecoins can be a way to track your behavior. So if everyone's doing stablecoins, your life and your transactions with stablecoins are on a blockchain, which can be read by other people. Okay. So even if they pass a no CBDC act, which would be fine, they can still see what you're doing. They can still see what you're doing, which makes you very early in Bitcoin. If you want to go over some of the altcoins later on, or see some of the great DeMark work in things like XRP, everybody gave up. What is everybody doing? Right? Solana was at 180. I got a phone call from a guy I really like. We used to work together. And the guy needed a new computer and a new self-defense implement. And he sold the Solana at 180. And that's good, because he bought it at 12. So that's fine. He did a great trade. But why is everyone giving up on Solana? Do you realize what happens if Solana closes the month above 180 after battling that level for 15 years? You got to see the chart. You got to stay right here. You can't go anywhere, because you have to see those charts. Not to mention the fact that good luck getting a dip on Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin is done. Altseason is done. It's not happening. What's done is the 4-year cycle. this whole thing where everything goes massively parabolic and then crashes. As you've been seeing, it's a stair-step function, and that includes altcoins. I know everybody wants the parabolic. Everybody wants 2021. Everybody wants to buy and have it go up and dump it on somebody's head and have it go to zero. That's what everyone wants. And of course, what everyone wants doesn't happen, right? You got to pick altcoins. You got to pick sectors, which is something that we do aggressively in the YouTube member area. So tomorrow at 9 a.m., we will be busting out with more live picks. There are a whole bunch of live picks here. And there's a free show. There's a free show on the main channel, right? So you have the YouTube member area, and I fat fingered a button, and there is me and Toby Ward with Toby picking them live, picking small coins live. I think, I want to do big caps. She's like, nah, let's do small caps. We did some small caps. We're definitely doing small caps tomorrow. You better watch out, people. This stream is performing, so you can check it out. Then you can hit the join button. That would be a good idea, I think. But that's just me. That's just me. And let me ask you something. How much Ethereum is BlackRock going to buy? How much can they buy? Do you reason the Altseason indicator went from 55 to 49? They have like fear greed. Yeah. Fear greed in altcoins as a whole was at 49% on Friday. How high can this go? Well, let's see. No one's long. Insiders sold XRP. Everyone's afraid of ETH at 4,000. Nobody realizes that the government needs a distraction. They don't need one distraction. They need every distraction that they have. What do they got? UFOs. I hear law enforcement is out in front of the big White House because of a suspicious package. Come on, man. They got everything is happening. Like when they bust out UFOs, then you know. And meanwhile, the Justice Department is probably trying to figure out, how to handle this. But they need ongoing distractions. There's nothing better for ongoing distractions than the sovereign wealth fund or the Bitcoin strategic reserve. No, they don't have to buy 1 million Bitcoin. I mean, that's what Cynthia Loomis wants. They don't need 1 million Bitcoin. They just need to start. Orange Man said, yeah, we're going to buy 30 billion. Who bought the Bitcoin that Galaxy Digital sold? Why are they bragging about how much Bitcoin they sold? Why would they do that? I mean, do you realize Bitcoin is so not private that, I don't know, you can use Bitcoin wallet addresses, Google, and come up with a top 5 guess of who that could be. Not exactly private. But why would you brag about selling it? Because you want to brag about who the buyer was. And if the buyer was Uncle Sugar, you have yourself a giga rally. And on and on and on and on. Multi-day. And then altcoins, again, everyone gave up. Everyone packed it in. It's over. It's done. It goes up 3 days in a row, and then it stops, and everyone packs it in. Everyone gives up. Meanwhile, BTFD is in order, and it's been in order for a while. Why? Because the 4-year cycle is dead. It trades more like equities. Investing in altcoins is like investing in tech stocks. Toby in the YouTube member area has been calling them buckets or sectors for a while. And all our customers' bags are all packed in relevant sectors. And we should get your bags packed too, because this is early. This is stupid early. I mean, what do you think the equities players are going to do when they come in on Monday? What do you think they're going to do? Right? My God, have I been sharing screen the whole time? Silly goose. If you look at what's going on in the YouTube member area, right? If you look at what's happening there, we got 5 coins that just went in. I'm having some difficulty today. Sorry. We got 5 coins that just went in that Americans can buy on like regular exchanges, like, Coinbase, stuff like that. Okay. Here is the Platinum Research Collection, right? I was nice and gave the VIP guys strategic altcoin plan for July, and 5 altcoins that kind of make sense, at a big picture level. It's not small caps, right? We have that kind of work, not for that kind of stuff. I think you should check it out. I think it's very reasonably priced. Now, back to our show. Did you know that the chief investment officer of BlackRock says the Fed should cut rates? The Fed should cut rates. Now, there's two sides to this story. Manufacturing is about to explode. Power plants, data centers, power infrastructure, right? Water infrastructure. More on that coming soon. It's just going to explode. Now, if you're not in manufacturing, you're getting hurt by interest rates. You're getting hurt. You got a $1,000 credit card balance. You're paying $50 a month, and the balance doesn't go down because it's all interest. Simple as that, right? And, I think in order to fuel this manufacturing boom, they're going to have to funnel rates. They're going to have to funnel more money into the economy, right, to meet the demand for goods, right? Goods go too high, right? Too few dollars chasing too few goods. They got to get money in the system. BlackRock CEO is telling you that. CIO is telling you that. Now, here's an interesting XRP theory. So XRP dumps because some big player sells it. And who's happy about that? Well, certainly not the XRP army who waited forever, including having to sit through the Solana parabolic. But there's a little theory going on out there that the Bitcoin maximalists are overjoyed, and perhaps they even participated, leaning on XRP because they don't want a competing form of fast money out there. Now, that may or may not be true, but I think XRP has gotten people's attention. Most importantly, right? So it's not just retail, right? People may be looking at this. Their business development team, I'm sure, is working night and day, particularly when Arbitrum gets Robinhood, right? Like that, in my mind, was the first big partnership. Who's going to get the second? Who's going to get the third? What are we going to do with XRP Ledger? What about XRP stablecoins? If we're making the Bitcoin maximalist upset, maybe they're getting somewhere, right? It doesn't matter whether you win or lose as long as you irritate everybody. That was a saying from the Futures Exchange. Doesn't always make sense, but when you're getting under somebody's skin, you're getting somewhere. And imagine they were selling XRP last week. It looked like it was going to go through $3. It looks like it was going to fall apart. Now, we have some research that says parabolic bull markets are over, but so are devastating bear markets. Okay, well, be careful with that because remember, crypto does have an inbred kind of stupid switch. Now, you don't want to see Bitcoin go from 116 to 250 in a compressed period of time because if you do, you can get very chunky corrections. That said, this does feel a lot like 2017, except it may not be in Bitcoin. It could be in ETH and XRP. So the more parabolic something goes, the deeper the correction. But if you get this whole like gradually then suddenly thing, you can have a very, very powerful, long-lasting strategy. Because as you go gradually, people don't believe it. People pile in kind of one at a time. People like, oh my God, I'm going to buy the top. And it goes up and goes, oh my God, I'm going to buy the top. And then it goes down. Then it goes back up and like, oh my God, I'm going to buy the top, right? Everybody's afraid to buy. That's what gradually then suddenly really means, right? I'm afraid to buy. I'm afraid. Oh, I'm not afraid. I'm really not afraid. Oh my God, this is so easy. Oh my God, I'm wearing a lampshade on my head. Then it goes down. Right now, people are scared to buy. No one wants to buy dips. The screen goes red And then Toby looks at everybody point blank into the camera and goes, shop on red days. If you're not listening to Toby Ward, I'm not exactly sure who you're listening to, particularly since we have multiple tiers, right, that are priced differently depending on what you want. And because I fat fingered it, there's actually a free one on the stream. So you can check it out. It's like a podcast. It's like me yelling into a microphone for the market update. That's a whole different style. You listen to it in your car, get a notebook, take some notes. It's killer. And we have reports for people who like paper. We have, or, iPad type stuff. We have reports in Patreon Platinum, and we go over some of that on the video and the podcast. So we have a little bit of cross-pollination going on. Small caps on the podcast, other stuff in with the GAN model. We got what you need. Okay, let's talk about privacy just for a minute. Did you know that Google pays Apple $20 billion a year to remain the default search engine on iPhones? Now, why would they do that? Well, because they're just hoovering up everybody's data. I don't know. How many iPhones are out there? 1 billion? Yeah. That's your data. And as John McAfee would say, do what you can to have them eat white noise. I'm working on it myself, and I want to make videos about it. The Tornado Cash guy, Roman Storm, is being tried in New York by federal Department of Justice employees who work out of New York. And I think they've let this go on because it was in motion before the administration came in office. Okay. But this guy is up against people claiming he, was involved in a hack and could have stopped it. Chainalysis will be testifying on behalf of him. But just to show you how popular privacy is these days, here's the one person standing outside the Tornado Cash courthouse. Writing code is not a crime. Free Roman Storm. A lady with blue hair. That's the privacy army. Well, we got an antivirus army. Janice McAfee appearing on a big podcast recently. Okay. Right here on my Twitter. True Crime Podcast. Talking a lot about what McAfee said about decentralized exchanges. Antivirus, a meme coin of the AI McAfee, along with multiple functional privacy features, trading at a 3 million market cap. And that is a great segue into what exactly is the market cap strategy or picture in this market right now. What exactly do we got? Is it cheap? Is it expensive? The stocks are at 2,000 bubble levels. And believe me, I was there. And wow, that was quite the bubble. I mean, we were even there and we knew it was a bubble. And the decline off that was amazing. It's unbelievable. I knew this one guy. He basically came in. He was an options trader. He came in and bought puts every single day and just watched it go lower. Just cascade lower. The lower it went, the more put or sell, the more bearish bets he made, it just kept going. It was unbelievable. So what kind of returns are you going to get in stonks? Now, with that in mind, this is total altcoin market cap. So we have a complex head and shoulders. That means we have 4 attempts to push altcoins down. We have a glorious breakout through this very powerful neckline, and it's just above $1 trillion and could go to 1.25. That's total crypto market cap without Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Solana, ETH, hidey ho. Everybody gave up on this thing on Friday of last week. And look at what these institutions are doing in Ethereum. It's a little bit of inflows into the Ethereum ETF. So let's buy stocks at the bubble high, because after all, like the institutions, like they're stupid, right? They don't have analysts. They don't know these things. and it's nonstop buying ETH. Once upon a time, ETH was Web3. ETH was the path to a decentralized art market, decentralized finance. I mean, what are AI agents? I just got a pop-up on ChatGPT when I was doing some of the research with the GAN model. It's like, here, pop up. Hey, use AI agents in a browser. Click here to begin. What? They're not going to use ETH. They're not going to use ETH layer 2s. They're not going to use the most reliable networks, the battle-tested networks out there. Not to mention, again, this thing, it happened with Bitcoin, right? They just keep hoovering it up and hoovering it up and hoovering it up, and then it just goes. Right? And people don't realize about Altseason. People don't realize what happens when ETH goes. I've said this before, right? Lower dollar, higher gold, higher silver, higher platinum, fertile ground statistically over time for ETH to just go whoosh. And the thing that's funny about ETH, especially as we look at a weekly chart, because again, the week just ended, is that they're afraid of 4,100. If you look at the Twitter, everyone's like, 4,000 next. ETH 4,000. Here we come. Yeah, but they're afraid of it. You know why? Because they stopped twice. And you see this 4? That was dip week. That little decline, yeah, that was the dip. That was the dip. It's textbook. And then they're stopping short because, the DeMark work on the weekly has, 4,100 as a key level. Solana on a monthly chart. Month is over in 3 days, right? So how many attempts do we have to get through 180? Well, we have a robust amount. I've counted them before, and there's no point in doing it again. A monthly chart has a tactical level. And if this month closes above 180, or if they just blow through it and go to 200, there's your confirmation. Because this time is different. This time you have non-believers in altcoins, right? Last time it was like, oh my God, it was all memes. Last group of Solana things were all memes. That's why they couldn't sustain it, right? Everybody gets free meme coin trading, but the validators sell Solana to pay for your free trading. This time, Solana is moving just by itself because there was no meme summer. There wasn't. It was Bonk, Doge. That's it. That's it. Solana moved all by its lonesome, probably because it's going in an ETF along with XRP. XRP's already got a futures contract. Oh my God, right? He says, unbelievable. Like, I'm just sitting here, like, I was kind of quiet. I was like, all right, why don't we let this thing trade? Let me not stream and make 500 videos. Let's just see what this thing does. Okay? This is what I mean by gradually and then suddenly. So they drop it, and they drop it again, and they bring it back. And they drop it again, and they bring it back. Now, the DeMark count has restarted. Yeah, you could have 5 more up days. 5 more big up days in XRP. Like, what's everyone doing? And then I think if you look at XRP weekly, I think, yeah, you could easily have 3 more up weeks. The dip should have been over here, but they got exuberant, so they did the dip the next week. That's fine. How about 3 more up weeks in XRP? Who's expecting that? Nobody. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. Bitcoin maximalists hate it. You know what? It's going on in XRP. It's called a hated rally. They hate it. And when they hate it, it just keeps going up. Not to mention the fact that you have insiders selling it, which is bullish, right? When Amazon goes up a gazillion %, and then Jeff Bezos sells a $3 billion worth of stock and then has a $50 million wedding in Venice, that's bearish. But when you have a guy who can't wait to sell at $3, it's going up, right? Bitcoin, square range. 6, 7 more up days. Let me ask you something. U.S. Treasury Secretary says Bitcoin is one of the most crucial things in the world right now, and he doesn't own it. Well, that seems strange. White House official says Bitcoin will go to 20 trillion market cap. Huh. Interesting. Guys, hey, what's your position? Are you long? Or did you just pick up what Galaxy Digital sold with tariff money? Joe Robbins reminds you to slap the link for Uncle Bill. We got close once. We're still trying to get to 200 likes. Also, I would like to take this time to thank the viewership. We just crossed 7 million views on this 3-year-old channel. So we clearly appreciate all the things that you've done for us, so we can continue to do things for you. Now, one of the things that I did for both, I did it for the platinum area on Patreon, is I did primers for not only crypto equities, but Bitcoin treasury companies. Did you know an ETH treasury company just hired a former BlackRock CEO? I'm sorry. Right. I'm sorry. They hired a BlackRock executive to be their CEO. Here we go. Treasury stock, the hidden gems right here. The guide to crypto stocks. Why? Well, because everybody over in equities is either underinvested in crypto stocks, or they're too busy saying, well, I hate MicroStrategy. I hate the miners. I hate. Actually, in one of the reports, I actually said, here are the ones that hedge funds would most likely be short based on what a fictional Paul Tudor Jones would say. Now, what should you do with the stocks that they're short? It's not investment advice. It's just an opinion show. I'll leave that up to you. But the guys and gals in Patreon Platinum, they know what to do. Because I think, honestly, there could be substantial money in those stocks. Because ironically, if you're looking for Altseason, if you're looking for buy and have it go up and up and up and up and up and up, no, just have it just go parabolic. What happens if you have a decline or a range or stocks get boring? Bitcoin goes to 130, ETH goes to 5,000. What do you think is going to happen to these treasury companies? Everybody wants to short them and be long Bitcoin against them. What happens if Bitcoin sits still and those stocks just keep going? And every hedge fund is short them, including a famous short seller. I was like, yeah, I'm short the Bitcoin treasury companies. That's not even an issue. Next question in the interview. Just don't even talk to me about that. It's automatic. I wake up, I brush my teeth, I take a shower, I put my shoes on, and I short Bitcoin treasury companies. Okay, bro. We'll see how all that works out, right? Because they're still fighting it. They're still fighting it. And if they're still fighting it, it's going up. I'm sorry. It's just that simple. If they're fighting the market, because what happens is psychologically for traders, when they miss it, they fight it. They fight it, right? They try to get short. They try to get cute. No, wrong, right? ETH, we're keeping track of this whole premium zone thing. You know, ETH could go to 4,200 before it stalls out, right? Member requests from ENA. Don't forget, YouTube members get cool emojis and priority on comments. So I do think, and there's a $4.99 plan. If you're, you don't have a lot of money, but you'd like to have an emoji, join the community. Patreon has a chat. I'm in the chats. Come see us. Okay, so ENA, straight up after being massively suppressed, we've gone over this multiple times. Suppression equals vertical. Now, it should pause here. I'm guessing people are going to take profits. But if you think about this, on a big picture basis, when you look at this weekly, dude, they're not even at a balance zone yet. They're not even at equilibrium. right? Equilibrium in this is 88 cents. Currently, it's trading at 66. Premium is $1.57. So if you're a believer, it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. But people are probably going to take profits. But I said that in Bitcoin at 105. Just saying. I don't want to be undisciplined, but Solana, look at them slam it into this one zone. I think they did the same thing in XRP. They slammed it into the support zone, and then it came straight back. Bitcoin dominance. See this big pink resistance bar? I don't know what stops Bitcoin dominance. The equilibrium zone is at 56. You got any idea what kind of altcoin rally you can get if Bitcoin dominance goes to 56? Okay. If I saw a comment fly by, Bull Runner said, just bought the Solana 7 report in Patreon. There's a lot of good ideas in there. Yeah, that report is like a couple of months old. And if you're allergic to monthly memberships, I have a store inside Patreon. There's a store. And inside the store, we have the Solana 7. Published it like a month ago. And it's super interesting because I dropped the price down to $17. The Bitcoin treasury companies are at 40, and the Platinum Group strategic altcoin plan from now until September is marked at $105. The membership is cheaper than that. Perhaps with Altseason uncanceled, it's the time to get some research. All the Bitcoin, all the YouTube influencers are at the beach while this is going on, right? Love it. All right. Okay. So PNG cross-chain at resistance on a weekly chart. Okay. On a daily chart, it's sitting on top of support. I must have had a LuxAlgo hiccup, but the whole market looked like this 2 days ago, right? They just keep hitting it right into these big support points. You got to get involved in cross-chain, right? Toby had a couple cross-chain picks. I'm like, really? I'm like, okay. Really? How can Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, and XRP be flying and nothing happening cross-chain? That's crazy. That's not happening. Did you see? Did you see? You see Hedera get listed on Robinhood? Remember the American-made cryptos? Okay. I'm having a difficult find. I'm having a difficult time looking at. Oh, share screen. Okay, back to PNG. Look at them hit it into support. Top of this alligator mouth is at 28 cents. Hegic. I don't know why that's not coming up. The Eagle King will find it. We'll sort it out. If you do not have a plan, this is a new thing. YouTube influencers are always talking about having a plan. Oh, QNT, right? I remember QNT earlier today. By the way, here's Algorand, right? Slamming it, rally it, resistance, slam it into support. The American-made cryptos. What happens if they wind up with favorable tax treatment? What happens if there's a compromise on the floor? By the way, QNT also tradable on Coinbase. Huh. Wow. Look at this. Right. All the way up, hits the top of the accumulation cone, all the way back down. Smash it into support for 3 days. Boom. Gone. Right. You know, what's really funny about stuff like this is, you know, it's not perfect. And I probably bring it up. Maybe I bring it up a little bit too much, but the whole market is doing some form of consolidation, waiting for a breakout. Okay. That's what these coins look like. They go back and forth and back. This is what QNT is. Boom. Boom. Like, who's going to stop this? Like, and I know I say this every time. Who exactly is the seller in the market? Right? Who was the seller last week? I don't know. Retail profit taking, institutions washing you out. Okay, Eagle King saves me with Hegic. Okay, Hegic trading on Arbitrum, I believe. 27 million market cap. Okay, here we go. It's all the same, right? Look how they hit it last week, right? Just keep hitting it and hitting it. They don't believe in it. They just don't believe in it. Like everyone's like, I believe in it. And then it goes down and they sell. And I understand that. I just, it's so depressing. So depressing. Like, you know, like yesterday, I was like, yeah, I got nothing to talk about. I got nothing. Right? This is Hegic on a daily chart. You could travel the distance of the range from the point of the breakout. So you could go to 7 cents. So I got nothing. And then Toby calls me up and says, hey, man, I think we should do a stream early. I was like, uh-oh. And then I look at the screen and everything's up like 1.5%. And then I call Eagle King. I was like, oh, my God, we got to get on the air now. Because everybody else in YouTube is at the beach. And me and Toby are going to hit the air 9 a.m. tomorrow. When the rest of YouTube goes, oh, I think it's going up. Yeah, okay. We know it's going up, homie. And we got research for you everywhere. And we'll be updating that tomorrow. We have research in before everybody goes, I think it's going up. Yeah, okay. It is going up, bro. It is. And then if you start looking at some of these cryptos, last week we covered that most crypto protocols, it's hard to get a job in crypto because most of the protocols don't make money. They don't make money. So what happens if some company like Aave that does make money, you know, you go up, right? You have wave 1. That's the first wave in the direction of the trend. You have wave 2, which is a correction. You have wave 3, which is very gradually, then suddenly. You have wave 4, which is annoying AF. And then you have wave 5, which is very emotional. Very emotional. Binance and Coinbase hot wallets buy $1 million worth of Zebec. One good thing about the YouTube member area and Patreon is that you got a lot of smart people in there. And they know what's up. So sometimes you can get ideas from them. And as we've talked about on this multiple times, look at the breakout that you had. There's 2 points here, right? First of all, this has a long way to go to its premium zone, right? A long way to go. The second point is that you broke out from a big triangle right at the apex, and this is exactly what should happen. Everyone takes profits, and then boom. And when you have a market that's acting in a textbook-friendly fashion, when textbook formations work, particularly in crypto, right? They work all the time in equities, but most of the time they don't exactly work in crypto. Different things work in crypto, like Fibonacci speed resistance, Gann stuff. This is others. Altcoins outside the top 10. Just now breaking out of a head and shoulders formation. Now, I don't know how much gas that they got. I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Because I'm guessing the first trade on Monday morning will be for these big players to come in and try to push the market back down again. And then they're going to start hoovering up these ETFs. If this administration, Cynthia Loomis, the Orange Man, Bessent, I mean, that thing that they had last week with Powell, that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing for the United States to have the president talking to Jerome Powell, who looks like he's lost 15 pounds and just got out of a rocking chair, even though he's younger than the Orange Man. That was embarrassing. Okay. And this thing, this circus has to become something positive. So if they need a distraction, we got to stop cursing people off. We got to stop embarrassing people. We need something that the American people can go, hey, oh, wow, look, Uncle Sugar is actually helping me. Right here. I got it on my phone. Oh, okay. Yeah. I voted for this. I'm getting some help. Because if you can't lower rates and nobody can afford a car and blah, 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 you got to get this crypto moving higher. Right? Okay. What about the incoming sun eclipse, the 2nd of August, bullish or bearish? Okay. So my understanding is that the eclipse is in September. Venus, a crypto planet, just made a move. This is what we cover in the Gann model. I think the Venus move was the thing that kind of suppressed altcoins a little bit. This is a educated guess. And then once that was over, because I'm guessing there is a decent probability, you can get very strong moves into eclipses and then reversals thereafter. This happened with the Bitcoin ETF in 2023. And it happened with FTX on the way down in 2022, where some woman with red hair, who's a famous astrologer, came out and said, watch out below. Look out below on this. Get to the chopper. This is get on board. Because if money flow is just starting to come in to a lot of altcoins on LuxAlgo. There was a little bit of FOMO. I understand that. But it's easy to wash out the FOMO. They take it down 2 days. Galaxy Digital sells, I don't know, billions of Bitcoin, brags about it. Everybody goes, ooh. I mean, honestly, even if that was, it was a legitimate sale, right? Even if they did dump it into the market. Okay. Well, who was standing down there wait to hoover up everything after they came out and announced it? They were. That's the oldest trick in the book, right? Scare everybody, put out something bearish, say you're selling. Meanwhile, you're down there just taking it from everybody. Everybody. They are one of the biggest buyers of Bitcoin. They are one of the biggest holders of crypto, right? And as I said last week, who is calling Galaxy Digital? Like, why is Galaxy Digital trying to buy? Because they see their customers wanting it. They see their customers wanting it, man. Right? A better shot reminds you to don't forget to like the stream. Okay. As you may have noticed, I'm trying to do more monologuing. So I will welcome who's here in a minute. Meanwhile, I'm going to handle a Polkadot request. Let me see if I can get Polkadot up on DeMark. Because, add a little bit of variety. I'm sure people who have liked this is like XRP level frustration. I remember some stupid headline. I don't even know if it's true or not. That like the guy that ran Polkadot went back to like being a DJ for fun because things were so dead. I talked to a guy at Consensus and he was just talking about the massive transaction throughput. This is monthly Polkadot. The 13 bottom was actually in July. It was a year ago. It had all the way up, all the way back down. And this zero, I don't know, man. That could be it. That for the down move, that could be it. You know, on a daily chart, not a lot happening, but it's trying to get through resistance. It's trying to get through resistance, right? The innovation game on base. I know we've covered this before. Toby's talked about this. See the volume coming in on this thing? Now, kind of what normally happens, and I've seen this a couple times, right? This is the flip side of the 62% retracement game. So what can happen when you have bag holders and big volume coming in is that they'll let it go up, but it'll get to the 62% retracement of the move down, which was $2.42, and then people will sell, okay? And as I say, when people sell, if it doesn't go down or doesn't fall apart, guess what? It's going to go right back up again. And that's the key when you see it. Everyone sees red candles like, oh my God. Red candles are for buying. Buying. So it's not investment advice, right? Okay, we talking about Big Pepe? $5 billion market cap on a frog. Amazing. Amazing. I like this because I think this is levered ETH, but it just kind of goes to show you how sort of not, you know, nobody's sort of home in any of these big coins. Like nobody's home. Well, that's far from perfect, but you know, you do have a breakout and then a return move if you drew it this way. So you could make a case in Pepe that that's a diamond bottom, right? I don't know if we're talking about a variation of Pepe, but you got to watch out for speculative juices here, especially since Altseason was officially canceled 2 days ago. No, I'm serious. That was everywhere. Altseason canceled. That's it. It's over. 3 days or we're done. Have a nice weekend. Stupid. Absolutely freaking stupid. What do we got here? I saw Big Rich in there. Hal Lopez. Dude, what time is it in Portugal? Man, guy's up in the middle of the night. Guy's up at 3 o'clock in the morning. God bless, man. Big Rich in the house, a member, Kamania, Thomas Chai, Jav. Welcome. One day I'll pronounce that right when I meet him. Indie Rock Crypto, Your Bass Hurts, Howdy Peeps, Donato, S-Wave Validator. What's up? Oh my God. We're going to do Ski Mask Dog when this is over, so don't forget. Joe Robbins, Hot Mess Express, Pancakes and Peanut Butter. Zen Trader, ZB, a member. Gavin Busby, a man who knows how to use his emojis. Forget about it. DC Precise, Jay Barbie, a member. Joseph, Tyler, MJ Hits, Huckleberry Native, Peter, Abe, members and future members, welcome. Crypto Crazy, Ayaz, welcome. 5-Wave Validator. I did some QNT for you. Joe Hackman, WH, and don't forget one of the all-time classics, Grandpa Keeter. What's up, dude? What's up? Pengu the Penguin. Dude, 3 billion market cap. Wow. Brick Dreams, Diogo. Daniel J, probably from the Jersey Shore. Ski Mask Dog. You know, to put it frank, memes haven't done anything. They haven't done anything, which is interesting because either the bid is going to switch to tech or everybody's going to wake up and want to do this stuff again. I mean, there's no question that you have a case of the bigger the base, the higher into space in Ski Mask Dog. And there's also, this is a classic GAN lesson. First of all, and this is true in antivirus too, whatever energy you had to propel a market higher, the coin, that energy doesn't go away. It doesn't. So if it did it once, it can do it again. Now, one of the things that this is doing, which the bigger the base, the higher into space does do, is that base persists and it frustrates people. People are like, why isn't my coin mooning? Why isn't my coin moving? Okay. People are broke. They want to gamble. Yeah, man. Yeah. Cardboard box for Powell. You know what? The thing that's funny about Powell is it doesn't matter what he does. There's this thing that's going around Legacy. It was kind of super edgy and cool like 6 to 9 months ago. Now it's consensus. It's called fiscal dominance. So interest rates are really a function of what Uncle Sugar spends. So if they spend $3 trillion and the Fed hikes rates, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Or if the Fed cuts rates, it doesn't matter. Right? What matters is the bond market looks at what the fiscal side of the government is doing, and then they set interest rates from there. I saw Richard Barry sneaking in. I'm ready for an end of the year blast off. Yeah. So are we. So are we. And of course, if you want the details of that, you need to tune in to see Toby Ward, which turns around and looks at you and gives you the 411. 9 a.m. tomorrow. And I've got some like American friendly altcoin picks, you know, not small caps, but it's like, hey, I don't really know what to do. Gave it to VIP and Platinum. Sure, Platinum's bags are packed. But if you need to pick up something, pick it up, right? Because if they try to hit this on Monday and it doesn't work, it's going up. Particularly since, again, the Orange Man needs an epic distraction. They don't need a one-day rally. They need a 3-month rally. They do. They need this thing to just go up and keep going up, like the election. Like November, December, January. 3 months. That's what they need. And then they may get that. Because if Bitcoin doesn't do anything, then this thing may smoke higher. Right? Like, let's say the guy from Tornado Cash gets off. Where's AIntivirus going to be if that guy is innocent? Or if he's guilty and the Orange Man pardons him as a way to get this going? Right? I mean, supposedly, back in November, like this was an RFK thing, and an Orange Man jumped on it by going to crypto conferences. It's like, hey, look, you have AI as an industry, and they're building all kinds of stuff, man. I mean, they're way behind the Chinese on all this. This is going to be like the Manhattan Project when we built the BOM, boom, back in World War II. I mean, they're like, oh my God, we got to start building everything now. Well, what about crypto? Right? 18% of crypto projects have cash flow. Ripple has 1,000 people. Ripple should have 10,000 people. And these crypto projects, if banks and all these people start coming in, yeah, that's the other thing, right? Altseason canceled. We're not doing Altseason. My bag's pumped for 3 days and it went back down and I'm upset. Okay. Well, what happens when BlackRock and all these characters start coming in? What happens if BlackRock puts some of that ETH to use in DeFi? I mean, everyone's talking about staking, Solana staking, ETH staking, liquid staking. Kathy Wood was talking about staking. She had some complicated article like, I'm in Legacy, but let me tell you about Solana staking. And we're packing it in. We're selling. We're done. It's over. It's over. I mean, you know, it was like the good headline last week was one guy was like, I'm not buying anymore. These are just headlines, like thumbnails. I'm not buying anymore. Then another guy had red ink. It was like, crypto correction, what's next? Right? My plan for the crash. It's melting down. What's your plan? Dude, your plan is to listen to Toby and get some research. That's your plan, right? Because, you know, the good news about this is that it's still going down. When this thing started going up, everybody comes in and goes, Bill, when am I going to get a dip? When's the dip? Dude, you got the dip. The last 6 months was a dip, and they gave you another one. And they put everybody to sleep. Everyone went to the beach. Everyone thought nothing was going to happen. I mean, I was like, oh, okay, what am I going to write? What am I going to say? What am I going to do? Boom. Right? Again, these big characters come in on Monday. They're probably going to try to hit the market. And if it doesn't work, it's gone. Or it's just going to continue to rally gradually, right? You actually don't want it to be gone. That's YouTube hyperbole. You actually want it to be gradually and then suddenly. And what is funny is last night in Asia, like they've been hitting it in Asia every night, even if during the up market. It's interesting that flipped last night and they were kind of buying it in Asia time over the weekend. All right, people, that's the market update for today. We will see you tomorrow.